Tomorrow, I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now tomorrow we're going to be getting an important announcement that I do want to discuss with you right here in this video because it's going to impact all of us in some way, shape, or form. Therefore, we probably want to pay attention to what's going on and what will be announced. Now, also, I have been getting a lot of questions from those of you here in the community in regards to additional money, stimulus checks, some type of anti-inflationary check, or something like that going forward through the rest of the year, and what's the likelihood of something like that actually happening? Well, again, I want to talk about that as well, so let's get into it and discuss what's going on. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so, and because I am your one and only daily advocate, it is my dedication, my commitment, and my promise to you and everybody right here in the community to continuously be here right by your side each and every day, watching all this new information hitting the wire, breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay posted on what's actually going on and how it's going to impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and of course anything showing up we can possibly grab and or take advantage of. So again, thanks so much for joining me. I am here for you no matter what every single day. That's my promise, and as always, I'm sticking to it. Thanks again. Please make sure to subscribe down below, and let's get into it and talk about the announcement tomorrow, as well as what all of this means. And then again, I also want to take a little bit of time here and answer some of those questions I've seen down below in the comment section saying, are we going to be getting a check? Are we going to get some kind of money? Is something going on here? It's a really tough time right now. It's very expensive. I'm struggling. I don't have enough money. Can't pay my bills. The lists go on and on and on. If you've ever read through the comment section on any of the videos here on the channel, you've probably seen some of these comments. There's a lot of people out there that are having a really hard time. And again, I want to break it down for you because the announcement we're going to be getting tomorrow, again, very important. It's going to impact all of us. And then again, it's also going to predicate what's going on through the rest of the year as well, as there is still a lot of the months left of this year. Therefore, we kind of need to pay attention to what's actually going on right now. It's such a weird time. There's a lot of things that are going on. All right, so let me talk you through the details as far as this announcement that's coming out, and then again, I want to jump into some of those questions and answers as well. All right, so first off, tomorrow we will be getting the announcement out of the Federal Reserve in regards to the interest rate policy. In other words, what are they going to be doing with interest rates? I can tell you this much, they're going to be going up. We already know that. The big question is, how much? The consensus is anywhere between 25 basis points and 50 basis points. Now, the thing is, it might actually be 50 basis points going forward. Now, why do we care about this? What does this actually mean for us? Now, again, I'm not going to take a ton of time talking about this just because I have explained it in other videos. So I'm not going to turn this into a big economic lesson, talking about all the details of an interest rate policy increase and what all this means. But let's just talk through it briefly because here's what it comes down to. When the Federal Reserve comes forward and they raise interest rates, it makes it more expensive for us to basically pay down any debts that we have on things like credit cards or maybe personal loans or auto loans, things like this. Anything that has maybe an adjustable interest rate makes it more difficult because as interest rates go up, that means they're demanding more money out of our pockets to pay down the debt that we are possibly carrying, right? So credit cards are the infamous one right now. In fact, as of right now, the average interest rate on a credit card is just under 20%. Would you like to be on the receiving end of that? I sure would, right? That's craziness, 20%. Let's put that into perspective. That's like having a savings account with a 20% interest rate. Not bad, right? You put your money in and you wait a little while and wow, 20% money back on that money. That's nuts, right? That would not be too bad at all, right? Now, here's one more thing. There's one silver lining about all of this as long as we're talking about savings accounts. If you happen to be one of the very few lucky ones out there right now who maybe actually has a couple dollars set aside and maybe set into a savings account, interest rates on savings accounts will also go up as a result of this because that's just what happens. So interest rates on CDs, like certificates of deposit, is what I'm talking about, CDs. And then, of course, interest rates on savings accounts and money market accounts and all stuff like that, those also do increase as well. But How many people have savings right now? Well, not many. It's a very, very small percentage of people, about 27% of the population, according to recent reports. So, not many people, right? 27 out of 100 maybe have a little bit of money in savings. Other than that, virtually nobody. All right, so that's about all I want to talk about in regards to that. And that announcement will be out right away at 2 p.m. East Coast time tomorrow. And then the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, will be out as well with the press conference. And again, it's going to cause a bunch of volatility in the stock market and things like that. But again, we can talk about all that tomorrow after we get the announcement. But we already know this is coming. And the whole point behind all this is to bring this inflation down. Has it been working over the last year or so? Not really, maybe a little bit. And especially with the last inflation report we just got, what was that, about a week ago? Yeah, it was about a week ago we got the inflation report. About a week ago, we can clearly see inflation is actually going back up, right? We've been digging into the report as well. And then, of course, the non-farm payroll, the job number that we got a couple weeks ago, also indicating, oh, yeah, the economy is very strong and the job market is still very strong. All right, so that's all I want to talk about there. Now, let me answer some of the questions that I continue to see down below in the comment section from many of you here in the community wondering, what are we going to get here? Is anything coming this year? I need some extra money right now. That's a great question, and the reason I want to talk about here in this video is because you might think, wait, what does the Federal Reserve have to do anything with some type of anti-inflationary check, a stimulus check, something like this? How do these two correlate? They actually correlate quite a bit, and here's why. The Federal Reserve is putting what am I trying to say? The clamps, the crushers, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a cool analogy. I can't think of anything. I'm trying to think of something neat, but I can't think of a good metaphor or like a good illustration. But basically, the Federal Reserve is essentially crushing this economy as a result of their interest rate policies. Now, it may not look that way yet. You're right. The economy still looks fine and dandy. But guess what? All of these interest rate hikes are going to catch up to this economy eventually, and all of a sudden, the whole thing's going to come down like a ton of bricks. Have you ever heard your dad say that one? I have, and that's why I said it. So if my dad's watching this, he'll probably think it's funny because he said that a bunch of times, and I heard that a bunch as I was, growing up. So my point is, that is what's going to happen, okay? So eventually these interest rate hikes will come down on this economy in a pretty big way, and it's not going to be a good situation. But again, is that what we're, fearing? No, not at all. This is what the Federal Reserve wants. They want to bring this economy down. Now, why am I talking about this, and how does this wrap into a potentially an anti-inflationary check, a stimulus check, something like that? Now, again, I want to make this very clear. As of right now, nothing has been approved yet, okay? I want to make that very clear. However, when this economy gets, whacked around, when this thing gets slapped upside the head a couple times, the economy I'm talking about, when this happens, it's going to be a situation where we're going to have to look at the situation and wonder, okay, how bad is it really getting? Is the economy really, really getting crushed hard now? If it gets into the situation where this economy gets, crushed pretty good, then remember this much. What do they do every single time that the economy goes into a contraction, goes into a recession, whatever we want to call it, a downturn, whatever we want to call that? What they do every single time is they come in and they print money, okay? This is what they do literally every single time. They print hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars, and they plow it into the economy in the form of stimulus, and then they bring the economy back up. So when the economy gets overheated by their metrics with high inflation like what we've seen here over the last couple years now, basically almost 2 years now, we've seen very high inflation. They come in, they try to bring all that inflation down, they try to bring it in, because the economy is essentially overheating, and then they come in, they bring it down, bringing us into a recession, a contraction, whatever they want to call it, and then they come in and they do the same thing, which they call QE, quantitative easing, or they call Operation Twist, or simply it's just called printing money. That's literally what they do. And then they push it out in the form of stimulus, and a lot of times that is also accompanied by stimulus checks. Just like what we saw in the year 2000, 2001, 2008, 2009 in that recession, 2020 is what I meant to say. 2020, 2021, same thing that happened then, okay? So that's why all this is very important to watch, because the actions out of the Federal Reserve right now are going to cause this economy to contract in a major way. How much is still the question yet to be seen. Nobody knows that quite yet until we actually play this whole thing out. But it's looking like according to what people are saying right now, the second half of this year is when things are really going to get kind of tough for the economy, okay? That's why you got to watch all this stuff closely, because all of this action out of the Federal Reserve now is just basically building the house of cards, right? They're building by basically raising these interest rates, and then eventually the whole thing's going to collapse, and that's what we're going to call the economy and the recession that is, kind of looming over us. So again, that's how all this comes into play. So even though it seems like the Federal Reserve probably has nothing to do with all this, oh no, they're playing a huge role in this, because all of their actions now are basically going to give us the future results that we look at in the economy, okay? Does that kind of make sense? So anyway, I don't want to go down too deep into this rabbit hole because this is kind of a big one. We could kind of get really carried away talking about this stuff, but I want to come back and share with you really quickly what is going on here. This is the announcement that's coming out tomorrow out of the Federal Reserve. How much will they raise interest rates? That's the big question. Will it be 25 basis points, a quarter of 1 point? Will it be 50 basis points, a half a percentage point? Or will it be possibly more? Probably not more, but it's likely going to be about 50 basis points according to what they're looking like right now. So this is going to be, making it more expensive for all of us to pay down any debts that we are having right now. But again, this is all intentional because they're trying to bring down this inflation. In other words, disincentivizing people to spend money is basically what it comes down to. So the higher the interest rates means we don't want to borrow money, and means that we want to spend less money because just kind of tough. So that's kind of the whole reasoning behind this is higher interest rates means less appetite to spend and borrow money. Long story short, that's what it comes down to. Anyway, I want to give you just a quick little update here, let you know what's going on. Of course, I'm going to continue watching everything very closely. As I get more details on anything going on out there, of course, I'll be right here for you, breaking it all down and continuously being here every single day to help you out in any way that I possibly can, as that is my dedication and my commitment and my promise to you and everybody here in the community. So please make sure to subscribe down below. Also, leave your feedback down below, your questions, your comments, your feedback. Make sure to share this video or any others here on the channel with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day. Have a good one. Stay safe out there. And again, make sure to stay tuned as I'll keep you updated with all of these changes as things are coming out literally every single day. All right, enjoy, take care, and catch you again later.